Welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at another quick and easy treble taming mod. And if you're not familiar with these, you're essentially trying to put some kind of material between your IEM and your ear that absorbs some of this high frequency energy. The energy in the treble range that may be a little too peaky, a little too hot treble. Some sets are just like that, especially in the budget range. There's just sets that have issues. And by putting a simple material like this is micropore tape, this is one I've used in the past. You cut a square of micropore tape, put it on the nozzle, and it essentially becomes a dampening material between that BA pointed at your ear and your ear itself. Just something to absorb a little bit of energy. So this mod comes from Rikudo. This morning he posted his mod and his results on his Hana and how he was able to achieve this dampening of these peaks over there using pretty simple materials. So let's kind of walk through exactly what he's talking about. So when I first read it, he was talking about 1/8 and 1/16 foams, and I didn't have any clue what he was talking about. So I caught up with him later in the day, and I'm like, so what is this foam that you're using? Because there's obviously many different types of foam. And he's like, oh no, real simple. It's earbud foam. So this is a normal piece of foam, cheap foam that you get with earbuds. You probably have a bag similar to this one that's sitting on your desk somewhere that has spare pads. But again, we're just looking at a very consistent, airy material that's going to pass through the bulk of sound, but absorb a little bit of that energy. And that's what it's essentially doing on your earbud. But now we're going to put it inside the actual ear tip to use that as a quick and easy treble taming mod, something that's quick to try, quick to remove, reversible, all that jazz. So the gist of it is this is a whole earbud, and when he talks about 1/8 and 1/16, that was actually one of 8 and 1 of 16, and I assumed it was some weird thickness, but no, it's as simple as that. So start with a whole earbud, cut it in half, cut it into fourths, and then I stopped at 2/8. He went down to 16ths. And sort of the difference between why you want to stop at 8th and 16th, that's really a personal preference. He is using final E tips, which actually have a narrower bore hole than what I was using, which were these KZ star tips on my TRN-VX. So I did stop it at the 8ths, but he went to the 16ths, and he sort of grasped both those results there, which we'll go over in a second. But as I said, the gist of the mod is using this consistent material, earbud foam, and cutting it into consistent pieces. So these are the 8ths, and I took the shortcut, and I simply were putting them straight into the ear tip like that. He did something, maybe a little fancier, and he would take the earbud off, put it on the bottom side like this, and then he would push this simply on the nozzle, so I pushed it up a little bit, and the foam ends up being in the middle somewhere. So two variations. I didn't really see too much of a difference in either one. I think it's easier for me to jam it in the top. I think he preferred the bottom, but whichever works for you, you can try it either way. But the gist of his results were like this. If you look at the blue line, which were these two peaks that annoyed him. So the red line is actually just the 1/16 pieces, and you can see it actually dropped it down about 2 to 3 decibels. And you get this nice reduced peak in the treble area. The problem with the 1/8 on his set with these final ear tips is it dropped the treble a little bit too much, and you could actually see it bumping the bass up a little bit too much. So he didn't like the 8ths as much as I preferred the 8ths on the TRN-VX. So this is going to be a trial and error, something to try. I would certainly cut 8ths and 16ths and have them both handy to try. So that's the gist of the mod. It's quick and easy, so we're not going to spend too much time on it. But I do say if we want to discuss this, let's do it over on Rikudo's thread, and I will certainly post links to it, and we can discuss it there because that makes more sense than discussing it in the comments. Both of us are over on his thread, so feel free to discuss it there, and I will post links there in a minute. So again, thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you next time.